208. Good morning, afternoon, evening. Zach, how are you?
I'm Granby. How are you?
Episode 208
Ish.
ish.
Confirmed? Confirmed?
We are
That's a lot.
confirmed.
There it is.
We are a dynamic duo. We are celebrating that official title.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is now official that we can call ourselves that. Even though, like, for how many years? I mean, we've already known it. Come on. Like, we
That was fun. But so I think like we briefly talked about the photo shoot on a previous episode, but we could not let the cat out of the bag.
I got a bone to pick with you about this. I got a lot of people tell me Tim can jump a hell of a lot higher than I can.
Well, the funny thing was that you were making fun of me. You were like, dude, you have no hops. And
I'm like, I think they moved him up because we're eye level. And we're not normally eye level. How tall are you?
5'10".
Okay, yeah. So I'm at least 4 to 5 inches taller than you, right? And so I'm like, but he's eye level with me. I'm like, I swear I got a little bit more like height than him. But yeah, I get a lot of comments about that. Like, can you not jump very high, Zach? I'm like, look, I did a 24-inch box jump the other day. Like, come on.
So for those that are not aware, we Kova Biz magazine, our friends there, they just it's the May-June issue that's getting ready to be released. Yeah. Zach and I are on the cover for the region's dynamic duos, and for this show, we are highlighted as a dynamic duo, and we made the cover. So how about that?
Yeah, exciting times.
Yes.
It was a good cover. It was exciting. There are some Easter eggs on my portion, at least. Tim is also trying to become part of Top Gun 3. That's what he's in ode to in his. Should I tell them what the Easter egg is for me, or do they have to figure out themselves?
No, let's dig in.
I'm wearing Ninja Turtle socks, of course.
Yeah,
but you can kind of just see them. You know, kid at heart. Of course, we already know that. I mean, I got Ninja Turtles everywhere. You know, they're behind me. It's the greatest movie of all time. No, it's not. But yeah,
yeah, we've been at it a long time. It's been a lot of fun. It's nice to get.
Yeah. How long have you been doing Star Peninsula at this point?
This is year 13.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. When did it switch? Did it switch in COVID? Is that when it went to the return? Yeah. When did you start doing pitch perfects?
That was early. That was really, really early. Just because the quality of the pitches weren't there, and
which is obvious. Like, it's an obvious statement.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they're not that good. These are like, I don't want to say rookies, but like these are rookies. Like they've never practiced this.
Well, it's just it's super, super early. I mean, it is by design, just an idea, a concept, and Star Peninsula serves as a platform to validate that business idea.
And you think it's going to continue to be virtual the whole?
It works out well. I mean, just as
we
know,
it's definitely easier.
Yeah, I mean, because you don't have to deal with bridge tunnels and traffic and everything else. It's just easy to pop online. We do it via Zoom. We're done in less than 2 hours, and it's easy peasy.
Well, I remember back in the days, like the old, like the Start Norfolks and some of the old Start Peninsulas, like they were long, 54 hour, 48, whatever, 3 days, Friday night at 5, Sunday night at who knows?
We finished at like 9, and then we would hit an establishment after for a couple refreshments.
Brewskis, yes.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier now. From that perspective, I couldn't imagine doing one of those things again, like a weekend long. Ugh.
It's a lot of work, as you know.
Yeah, not even just putting it together, just being there the entire time, as the host or whatever you would call me part of that. Like, it's demanding because you always got to be on. Anyway, today's guest, Cheryl Berry, you're participating in Start Peninsula? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the micro pitch 1 finalists. So she will has advanced to participate in November for the championship round. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations to both of you on the Kova Biz cover, your upcoming role there in Top Gun. I think it's the cool hair both of you have.
You're damn right.
I'm surprised. Now that you mention that, I'm surprised. Yeah, we that could be a dynamic duo, two-parter. Yeah, we do. I mean, Zach, I don't think you get enough props for your hair. I know that you like to clown on me for mine, but I mean, together, I mean, I think that we are a dynamic duo in the hair department.
I think it's great.
Look,
I think it's fantastic.
I am very cognizant that I am as old as I am, which is not that old, but I still have all my hair. I am very cognizant of that. I'm very happy about it. I don't have any gray in my hair yet, a little in the beard, but like I am very pleased with the way that this has worked out so far in my life. And I hope it continues like this because
man care is very important.
Exactly. But Tim, I mean, you've won best hair for how many years in a row now? 13
Well, I don't
years,
know. I think you're the only one that awards it. So tell me, it's been a long time.
I mean,
it's a lot of pressure, though. I mean, as we talked about just a few minutes ago, I'm a little bit older than you. It puts a lot of pressure on me, like constantly looking at the drain to make sure that there's not an increase in the amount of hair that is in the drain. And if I lose that, then what do I have? What can I resort to? Not jokes. I'm not a really funny dude.
You're not like me. I'm the funny one. I can't wait for the AI generator to figure out how they're going to describe this section of the show. That'll be fun. Tim and Zack talk about hair, Top Gun, right. Ninja Turtles. What a weird.
I think I guess if we had to place a bet, I am going to say that they're going to describe it as banter. That's the word I'm going to use. I've seen that before.
Oh, not the award-winning entrepreneurs.
I think that we need to win a few more things, and then we can we got to feed the LLM with more of the award-winning.
Okay.
Got it. Cheryl, you grew up here? You from here?
I did not grow up here.
Okay.
I did not grow up here. See, and that's a difficult question. It's not really. I consider Connecticut home. I grew up in Connecticut and New York. My family's all from the Carolinas. And so I, before my grandparents passed away, I spent some time in South Carolina taking care of them before they passed away. So, but I consider Connecticut home, New York home. I'm a friendly New Yorker.
Friendly New Yorker. I know too then.
So then you must be in the Yankees camp.
I am. I was a Met when I was a kid, but then I was a Yankee. And one of the best times that I've had in the last 5 years was July 4th weekend, July 3rd, the 4th, when I went to the Subway Series. No, I went to the Subway Series.
That's what I was hoping for, Tim. That's what I was hoping for.
I went to the Subway Series. I sat there and one of my friends bailed and canceled it last minute, and I was so happy because she didn't want to go, and I wanted to go like that particular day. And so I was there, my jersey, my hat, I was so happy. Yeah.
Well, awesome. On 4th of July, I'd go to Coney Island, just become the Glizzy King, if you know what I mean. But
are you team Kobayashi, or are you a Mark Chestnut guy?
Joey Chestnut. You ever watch the hot dog eating contest?
On TV, like a long time ago? It's gross.
Yeah, that's like a 4th of July thing. I mean, gross. Do they put that? Is that on the Deuce, or is that on main ESPN?
I think it's on the Ocho.
Yeah.
Take an antacid just to watch that.
It's
it is pretty
it's right up there with pickle juice.
Don't you talk mean about pickles.
Pickle juice, yeah.
How long ago did you move to the region then?
So I've been here for a little over 10 years. I moved here to take a job at a TV station.
Boy,
which one?
So I worked at the Independent station here in Hampton Roads. It's not on there. You probably won't see it on there. That's actually where I came up with the idea of what I wanted to do. I worked at a Fox station for about 10 years, Fox News station. I worked at a UPN station, CBS station, independent, worked at New York Times, so ad agency.
So you're just, at this point, you're just gathering. Is the idea of you starting your own venture starting to percolate at this point, or are you just learning mode?
I need a business partner so I can move. I've already got my product developed. I just need to go full time, but I still have to pay the bills while I'm doing full time.
Yeah, it's a common conundrum, I guess.
Yeah. So
money doesn't fall from the trees.
I mean,
it does for the federal government, but that's another conversation.
When I was younger, I could probably get it to just fall from the trees, but now I've got to work.
Yeah. So when you worked in TV stations, what did you do in the stations? Were you on air, behind the scenes? What did you do at the stations?
So I'm on the business end of things. Okay. So now I have written probably 50 to 100 scripts for commercials, for TV commercials. I produced a couple of shows. Meaning I conceptualized the idea. I probably wrote the treatment. I didn't film them. I'm not visually, that's not my thing. I see it, but I write them. And I even made a series, broadcast radio series that's, I believe, still on the air in South Carolina. But I'm really on the business end of things, selling advertising, selling sponsorships, creating sponsorships. However, sometimes I sold the sponsorship because I had an idea. So I wrote out the idea, and that's why people bought what we were doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm curious how that is. So did that translate into Our Brand Media in terms of, have you started marketing that yet? And I would assume that would transfer right over into your startup, no?
So I haven't started marketing it. I started Our Brand Media as a hobby. I started it as a StreamYard and OBS studio and things like that. And when I started doing it, people that were my friends or people who were my former customers, they said, "Hey, how can I be on it? How much can I pay to be on it?" And another idea or something that personal to me that had bothered me for a long time. So I said, well, if you're going to do it big. It takes just as much time to work on a small idea as it does a larger idea. If you're an entrepreneur, you're working 50, 60 hours a week, so you might as well just go for the gusto, right? And does that answer the question? I had the idea back in 2017, 2018, originally. I had heart failure. And first I tried to pitch it to the TV station I was working at. So and they didn't see it because they didn't see the digital media blowing up. They didn't see the streaming channels or OTT. They didn't see it blowing up. And as much as I pitched to them.
What station was that then?
I can't tell you because I'm telling you they didn't see it. So they didn't see it.
She's an open book, behind the scenes. Then we ask her questions.
No. I'm protecting the innocent. I never want to disparage anybody else if they could perceive it to be that way.
Okay.
And I don't see it because they're really good people. Yeah. But they didn't see the vision. And so even though I outlined it and I tried, they didn't see the vision. So I even talked to my brother who's a VC about it. And he said, write me a business plan. And I'd write a business plan. And so, I don't know. I was just like, whatever, you should just do it because you're my brother and he's not that way. And so I I went into heart failure, sat at home, as your life is passing through you and you're thinking about all the things that really mean a lot to you, that I'm like, shoot, I'm only 42 years old. There's all these things I wanted to do. So not long after, I went to the TV station, quit my job, and started working on
So, and I don't want to make light of this.
other things that were important to me.
But so you had heart failure, and then you decide that you're going to quit your job and do a startup and be a founder. Like that. That's like you're really putting yourself through the paces.
Well, there's a lot of things that happened between 2017 and 2024. My brother and his friends actually founded the Black Angel Tech Fund, and he had a stroke, and so he's out in California. So I spent a lot of time out in California, and that's when I really learned about the startup business world and the industry. And I saw the things that they did, that they were doing that was great. And I saw the things from a sales manager point of view that they were doing wrong. And so I stepped in some of those cases, and I really wanted to know more about the financial aspect. So pause. So I quit the job at the TV station to take a job so I could learn about the financial industry. So I wound up getting my Series 7 and my Series 66 to be registered, investment advisor, combined state and federal investment, stock brokerage licenses, etc. Because I figured if I went to work at one of the best investment firms in the country, that I could learn how money moved and how I could do this and do that, so I could get to the next step. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm sure you probably learned it's somewhat disappointing.
It was. However, I did learn a couple of great things from Jim Franklin as a financial advisor. And he gave me some ideas actually about how angel funds and venture capital funds could turn money more and help founders more. So, and then the crowdfunding expanded, Crowd CF. So that was fantastic. But that's it. But ultimately I wanted to do what I'm doing right now.
And so describe us, what is Our Brand Media, and what problem are you solving?
So Our Brand Media, I created it to solve the issue of independent voices being able to tell their story. I like to hear the untold story. One thing about me from all of I love to talk to people. I love to hear your story, and I love to hear unique stories. And so working at the Fox TV station, I was privy to where there was a really unique story, and a reporter would be right there in the room, and the news director, they're ready to break the story. And the VP GM of the vice president, general manager of the TV station would come through and say, you got to pull that story, pull it right now. And you don't think that happens. And one time we pulled the story, it was because the lady in the scandal was his next door neighbor, lady that lived down the street. It was true. He just didn't want to cause any bad blood between himself and his neighbor. There were other times where, it's true, our largest advertiser, and they were like, you better not run that story, so, couple $1 million advertisers. So we pulled that story. And
there's supposed to be a line where news and the rest of the departments do not communicate.
There is. But just because, A law has to be legal if you enforce it. Laws are only legal as they're enforced.
Look, I worked in newsrooms too. I get it. Like I get that world. And I mean, people talk about news being ridiculous now. I'm like, when I worked there like a long time ago, it was still pretty wild then too. So I mean, it's like, I'm not surprised at these stories, but there is, like, for people listening, there is, like, the news department is really not supposed to correspond with anyone else for this exact reason, so that this doesn't happen. But sometimes I guess it shakes out a little differently.
But it happens, and
probably happens more than we think.
Yeah,
I mean, if you think about it, people are creating; they get to control the narrative of what's going to be displayed on, hundreds of thousands of televisions and streaming devices every single day, millions if we talk about the entire country. Someone is making that decision of this is what we're going to run today, and that.
And it's never the anchor. And people always think it's the anchor, the reporter, and they're mad at them. They don't realize somebody's pulling the strings of the anchor in the background. They're going, whoop, whoop, And so the anchor's just reading what they're told to read a lot of the time. They might have influence about the story, but not actually the direction. There's, you know what I'm saying? So, what that moves into is a lot of times they take away people's authentic voice. They take away what Tim actually said. They take away what Zack actually said, and they edit it or they water it down. And that's in the news, that's in creativity. And I think I feel better now that I've become more authentic, and I think the stories are great. I just think that we need to hear the stories sometimes unfiltered. And I just wanted to create a platform that anybody who came to the platform, if they're willing to pay a fee, they can be on the platform and get their message outside of their local market.
Got it. How is this different than us talking here, a YouTube, posting something on Facebook? Like how do you see the content being different than someone going just live, if you will, or producing something on their own and distributing it out? How is it different from that perspective?
So I actually did several interviews of independent creators, and I had the same hypothesis, Zack. I thought people, they might be hesitant about being on a channel versus using the free methods, the YouTube and the Facebook. But the people who are really passionate about the idea, that wasn't even an objection. So that completely surprised me. That was my biggest thing. Like, oh, well, it was a couple of things. One, because I'm trying to synchronize across all the platforms at once. So my channel would be the streaming website, Roku, Fire, the apps on the Apple Store, on the Play Store, and the Google Play Store, and Facebook and YouTube, because all those platforms don't communicate. But the way I'm building it is I'm trying to have them all communicate. And so I found out that independent creators, they feel like it has more credibility when they're actually on a channel versus when they're on something free. They would prefer a channel that was dedicated to the independent creator and the authentic story. And hey, it's me. Never mind. Which is always a great selling point. But that is how it's different than a YouTube and a Facebook. As well, this podcast would be shown on YouTube and Facebook. But if it were shown on Roku and OTT, it would actually, I have the stats, I don't remember off the top of my head, has a higher retention rate of your audience. When people are looking at things on their phone, on YouTube, on Facebook, you don't retain as much as the audience as if they're sitting down watching on a Roku or Fire channel.
That makes sense. I mean, they're not scrolling, right?
Right.
Right.
It's a different. mechanism. Yeah, that last time I checked that stat for like YouTube, I think YouTube videos were 4 minutes or less. Was the average view. I mean, I would assume that when you get on an actual channel or an actual network, as long as there's not a commercial, you're going to stay on there. Once you decide that I'm going to watch this thing, you're going to watch it through for some amount of time.
Right.
Yeah. So what kind of headwinds do you face right now? Or what's the next step? Where are you at?
So I'm not a technical person. My biggest challenge and the thing that's caused me the most delays is I'm a numbers person. I'm a creative person. Those things don't typically go hand in hand, but I'm a numbers person and I'm a creative person. I am not a tech person. And so I've had to pay coders and developers to do the work. Sometimes they took my money and they ran. And so I finally have gotten into the spot where I've got a guy that I'm paying who's contracting for me, who is getting the job done. And so I'm hoping by June, the Roku channel, the Fire channel, all of that will be live. And I'm looking for people who want to, right now, free trial, submit their content, so I can put it up on the channel, see, to see traction, to try it. I'm not going to sell it right away or try and get, I'm not going to do the full force launch until I worked out the kinks. I know, we're our biggest critic, but I want to deliver on my word. It's Our Brand Media, but I'm also Cheryl Berry, and I do what I say.
The name.
What?
Our Brand Media.
So Our Brand Media is the name of the company. The name of the channel is Our Brand TV. If you go on the Apple app or anything like that right now, you will see it's on there. It's Our Brand Media or Our Brand TV, however you type it in on the Google, on the Play Store. My website is ourbrandtv.com. And I haven't launched it. I'm playing with formats, but I'm close. Yeah.
But the meaning behind that, how the way you got to that, like how did you come up with that? That's what you're gonna call it.
So BET, you guys familiar with BET? Black Entertainment Television?
Of course.
Yeah. Of course.
Can't stand it. Stand it. Black Entertainment Television. I'm sorry, this is one of those politically incorrect things, but I'm gonna be authentic. I'm gonna speak my truth. I think BT made us stupid. And I don't like a lot of the TV shows that they created originally to pander to underrepresented audiences. I don't like Cops. I don't like Cheaters. I didn't like Maury. I didn't like Springer. And I didn't like when BET first launched, and it was independently, it was owned by a private company. I think it was the Johnson family. It was a mature show. And it was when it was purchased, I think, by Viacom that it started to become, I just remember crisscross and the pants sagging, and that became the thing. And for the culture, it's not the right thing. So I didn't want entertainment television. I wanted empowerment television. But I'm also not a homogenous person. I don't believe, I didn't want to make a Black only channel. I didn't want to make a women's only channel. I wanted to make a channel that was for independent people who had an untold story to tell. And I didn't want to discriminate across any of that. But that is how I came up with the name, Our Brand TV.
It's just one last piece of that. typically stations are one word or like something very quick, right? And so to have 3 words in there, it's a very different way to approach it in this world where, it's okay, it's Paramount, okay, it's Peacock, okay, it could be an abbreviation, right?
Well, OBTV.
Okay.
You could also do like OBTV. That's kind of how the logo looks. If I ever have to,
that's what I was kind of getting at. It's a
Oh,
lot
it's
of
too
these things
long?
are one word.
It's too long.
No, I think OBTV. I think that flows.
Well,
Okay.
the-
No.
I mean,
I did
will tell you.
when I did my first logo. It was very creative, but when you're looking at the channel, it's too tiny, and so I redid the logo to make it where it stands out, and that's what it really looks like. OBTV.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that right now, I would hate to see a ton of time being spent on getting that perfect.
Oh, yeah.
No, but that's good feedback.
Yeah.
I just like if you look. I mean, from a branding perspective, you look at all these other things, and they're all one word.
Mm-hmm.
That was just when I thought of this. That was the first thing that came to my mind. It's not one word.
And the website was available, and the domain
That's
name.
always hard.
And the domain name was available. Yeah, the domain name. The domain name was available. All of them. Ourbrand.tv.
Always tricky.
Yeah, ourbrand.tv, ourbrandtv.com, ourbrandtv.net. I own them all.
There you go.
Yeah.
So are you to the point now where you are soliciting people to submit their content?
I have solicited a lot of the people whose content I have are people who I worked with in TV in the past. People I know who've homegrown local shows. A guy friend who's an anchor who took a break to get his next best position. And they did, you got a podcast. It's a podcast is only, okay. So a podcast is only audio, but when you're showing video, then you're a web series. So he was making his web series. And so I got him to give me some of the old web series. A local gentleman who put on Hampton Roads Business Live. He gave me some of his evergreen Business Live. So I've reached out to different people to give me different things. And I have a guy friend that's he's in Charleston, South Carolina, Big by Nature Productions, and he's making some things for me.
Is there a specific vertical that you're looking for?
So what I would like is I would like 2 things. I would like some really great films, homegrown made films, an hour, 2 hour in length. And then the other thing is I am looking for people who've made their own local TV show or TV series, and it's good. And it's something that would actually gain your attention.
Yeah, I'm trying to just maybe
game shows, things of that nature. Yeah.
Zach, do you think you could be a game show host?
Absolutely.
I've got a script and an idea written for a couple. You ready?
Hey, let's go.
All right. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking in my head what I'm gonna do, and like.
Yeah, and and I actually. So in order. This is a double-sided marketplace.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if this is where that was going. Right now, you're trying to load up on content, and then will you eventually?
So you were talking about AI generator, and that's going to be that's where I'm lacking on the tech skills. It would be great in order for this to work for everybody. Independent creators, they're successful when they have people who want to watch their content. Okay, I could give them the largest platform in the world, but if nobody wants to watch their show, they don't win. At the same time, there's somebody for everybody, right? There's somebody out there for everybody. And so I want to do my best to align so it works for everybody, to align the right audience with that independent creator. if I could figure out an AI algorithm or something like that, or coding where it was smart and I could attract the audience to the shows that they specifically want to watch, like, more than, hey, because you watch this, we think you'll like this. But, something a little bit more AI stalkerish that would align you together. That would be ideal. The other thing is, so I interviewed all the independent creators late, and then recently I started interviewing younger TV viewers.
Is there such a thing as a younger? What is a younger TV viewer?
Well,
Like
I started interviewing.
age.
I started to interview people in 20 somethings to see what they like to watch on TV. I don't know, are they Gen Z? I think they're Gen Z. They're not millennial. I think they're Gen Z.
The lazy ones.
Oh. No. I was accused recently of and I don't even want to say it, but let's just say I was accused recently of being mean to Gen Z or judging them.
The truth hurts. The truth hurts. The truth hurts.
And,
whatever.
That's a stereotype, Zach.
It's not.
I didn't realize that.
That's not true.
I agree with you, Zach.
Only when you haven't seen it.
I agree with you, Zach.
I didn't realize that
my
20-somethings watch TV, though. I would be curious to know, like, if you look at, if there was a study done of college dorm rooms, how many dorm rooms have a TV?
Yeah, but they don't watch as much TV, I think, as Gen X and baby boomers did, because the 20-something-year-olds that I interviewed, how much TV do you watch a day? 2 hours. And I think our screen time must be higher.
Yeah, so I've recently been doing some research in this topic, and the numbers are ridiculous. How much, I don't know about age group, but definitely content is being consumed in ridiculous amounts on a daily basis. So I would believe that, or the data that I've seen is like a lot a day that people are consuming. So now, what age? I don't know. I don't know that I had that information, but
yeah, I can give you those numbers. So back in 2017, that is when the streaming audience really started to grow. It grew 8 times. The streaming audience grew 8 times. At that point in time, people were starting to spend more time with independently created content than with Hollywood created content. 2021, that is the first time streaming views outpaced broadcast and cable TV views.
But that's
so
not.
Now you got to break down. You got to break down the screen time. TikTok,
yeah, but that's not
Instagram,
surprising when you see so many screens. People
right.
are constantly on their phones. Like, so I get that number. I saw that number the other day, and I was like, I get that number is there. But if you think about how many people are actually on their phones scrolling and they're using that as watching things, like, it makes sense. How many people still have cable?
Nielsen breaks it down into categories, though.
Yeah, but Nielsen is like the most overrated like rating system. Like, it's so skewed. Like, this market, I think, has like 300 boxes for 1.7 million people. It's such a bad system that I can't believe people still gravitate towards in that industry.
But you also have ComScore, and you have all the data now that they track from your internet provider. And from your internet provider at home is also tracking that. And they now, by your subscribers, they know how many TVs you have on in your house and what channels you're watching. I called the cable company to cancel my service. And they said, well, why are you canceling? I said, I'm not watching TV. They said, you're watching CNN all the time. And I was like, you creep. Like, that's none of your business. And I said, that's on for my dog. So my dog has company during the day.
You're making your dog watch the news?
It makes them smarter.
Makes them smarter.
And the Discovery Channel, they like that too. But they knew what I was watching all day.
And that was true? Your dog does watch CNN?
I'm
just more curious.
No, I got a better story on this.
I just left the TV on all day, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
what it was
But
on.
but that was an accurate statement that they said they were right.
They were right, and I was like,
That's kind of scary.
"What an invasion of privacy!"
Right.
Okay, but you know what's even crazier in this? So my wife watches RuPaul. She watches Drag Race. Drag Race has different versions in different languages.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say there is a Spanish one, or there is a European one, or I think there's like a Chinese one or a Japanese one, whatever.
So RuPaul and
RuPaul. It's always RuPaul's drag show, whatever it's called. But now we get ads in different languages.
Okay.
That's the crazy thing. So it's targeted, realizing that we're watching this content and now we're getting ads in different languages. And then I just look at her and I'm like, this is because of you and you're watching of that show. It's comical, but of course they know what we're watching. Everyone, someone's watching this show right now. To think that AI can, in half a second do anything. Like I think everyone's listening.
Well, it's not just AI; it's geofencing and everything that. It's the ISP tracking. I've been at home. I was looking at buying a new car once. I was looking at buying a BMW, and I was comparing it online at home. Then I got to work, and it served up on my office computer.
Of course. Because
it's got my phone. And so if you go to an event right now, if we have a huge event tonight, the assembly, and I want to target startup founders, I can put a geofence around the location. And then as you leave, I can capture every single cell phone device that's in there. And then as you leave, I can start serving up television commercials to you at home for products like AWS and things that startup founders are interested in. I can stalk you solidly for a week. And so, yes, back to the original question, yes, they can break it down. Which screen time? Tablet, cell phone, actual TV.
As the founder of Our Brand Media, where do you stand on that? Is that just part of the game and you would be forced to do the same thing? Or are you going to propose that, hey, we don't care. You're just going to watch whatever you want to watch?
I think it's an invasion of privacy to track everything that people are watching. I do. I think it's an invasion of privacy, but because, again, I'm not tech savvy with the coding, I don't know how I could stop what your internet service provider is doing. I do know that I've met with the FCC commissioner in the past. One of them I met with when she was Commissioner Mignon Clyburn in DC, and we had a meeting. And anyway, but under Obama's administration, he tightened up what your ISP and those companies were allowed to collect about you in terms of data. Another commissioner came in under the Trump administration, and they relaxed it all the way back. And so, yeah, they can track anything and everything you're doing, even if I, as a station, try and don't do it. So I think
as you become a two-sided marketplace, what side of the fence will you sit on?
Opt in versus opt out. It's your choice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
opt in, opt out. We live in weird times.
Yeah, but me personally, I don't like you following me around. I give me cash to spend. I don't type my phone. Yeah.
Yeah, people would just be super boring following me around.
I was on another run.
A successful day for me is that I don't even leave the house other than to run. That's.
What about you, Zach? What do you think about the marketplace and stalking you via social media and your internet and your phone?
I mean, who says it's just now? Who says they haven't been doing it forever? Do I think it's? I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to change. I don't think.
The thing that,
I mean, if you would have said 25 years ago that you were going to put, instead of writing in your diary every day, that you would just start posting, pictures and videos of your entire life online and people would be okay with it, they would have told you you're crazy. But fast forward, that's what billions of people do every single day. So we are encouraging this stuff to happen by what we've done over the last 2 decades. So we shouldn't be surprised that we're in this, we're at this point. And at the end of the day, it's about money. And if there's money involved in this, guess what? It's not going to change. Doesn't matter how much we want it to go away. Somehow, somewhere, someone's going to do this. And so I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it, but I think we know that money is what rules this world.
It's like, why are you banning TikTok when Google and Facebook have been doing it forever? It's because somebody else is on it.
Well, that's a scary thing. Yeah. TikTok's just first. That's an easy target. And then others will follow suit. Others will be in the crosshairs. It's just a matter of time. The thing that I don't like is so like TV. You to your point, Cheryl. You opt in. You watch that show. You hit the algorithm. You get recommendations based on that. The thing that I don't care for is like if you watch something or you talk about something and then all of a sudden you look on Instagram and then they're serving up those ads and it's just like, come on. Yeah, that's to me is gone.
Yeah. We were talking about I'm here at Assembly. You guys are familiar with Assembly. You're here. Are you coming tonight? Gonna be at Assembly later? No.
I will not.
Spring Fling. Okay, so I'm at the Assembly right now and I was here yesterday and I was talking to the 20-something-year-olds. And I was asking them again, what do you guys like to watch on TV? How much TV you watch? I was asking them yesterday. And we were talking about Spirit Airlines. Somebody was taking a trip, had just taken Spirit Airlines to California. And so I was sitting there, I pulled it up. Guess what's in my Instagram reels? Spirit Airline plane and all this stuff started flying around. So the phone can actually, that was they gave out our secrets under, I'm sorry, with the conspiracies, under one of the administrations. Your phone, your TV can currently watch you and hear you. When I worked in the financial industry, if I was working from home, we were told and we had to sign off that you could not do your work near an Alexa device or a Google device. One day I had to move from my office to another room in the house, which was near the Alexa device. Forgot it was back there. Alexa started talking. And nobody was talking to Alexa, but I think it was something that the financial company that I work for knows that it can gather that information. It was probably trying to steal my stock trades. So I don't know. It's just my conspiracy. So yeah, to Tim's point.
Why are we shocked? We're using a camera right now. Clearly, it can see us. There's a camera on this thing. We're on all day. Of course, it can see us. Of course, it's listening. Like, I don't. Again, I don't know why people are so shocked at these things. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just like, duh. Like, of course these things are happening because we've taught these companies that we are salivating for more things like this. Stuff we never. I mean, 15 years ago, if you would have said, I'm going to go pay a stranger $50 a night to stay in their room, we'd say that's the most ridiculous thing ever. I'm only going to stay in a hotel. We'll look at Airbnb and VRBOs and all this. Like, oh, I'm never going to get into a stranger's car, and pay them money to drive me somewhere. Yet Uber and Lyft are like the big thing. Like it's just
it's the different generations. Yeah, it's a different generation. Yeah,
it is. But now everyone uses it too. It doesn't even matter what age you are. It's like they're just accepted. Where if you think back even just a couple years ago, you never would have anticipated that. And so, I think we create our own. We've created our own evils or positive. Point,
I created our brand TV. And I'm not getting people my age's feedback. I'm asking people 10 years, 20 years, 30 years younger than me. Because even with investments, the most successful ones, I've asked younger people what they're interested in because that's the future. And so what I'm trying to design hey, well, what do you think of this? And what do you think of that? That's the other thing. They want me to put a chat feature in. So they can communicate with the independent creator who's made it. And so I actually have that built in. I would have to activate it, but so I'm listening to the future,
So being non-technical in a very technical business that you're doing, how did you make the decision that it was a route that you were going to be able to not only get out, develop, get it out in front of people, but then be able to iterate and continue to have enough bandwidth for it? Because if it does get the viewership that you want, is it going to be able to, like, is it going to have enough bandwidth to handle it immediately? Like, how do you handle just like the technical aspect of something that is so over, your head?
Walk by faith, not by sight. But no, seriously, that's a part of it. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to throw this in. The thing that I admire the most about the successful business owners, entrepreneurs, business owners, different. The things that I admire the most about entrepreneurs and the successful startup founders is somebody says, hey, I need to put 3,000 labels on a bottle today. Some people are like, oh, I can't do it. And they just quit. The entrepreneur says, I need to put 3,000. How are we going to do it? And they figure out how to get it done. So I know what I need to have done, and I'm just going to have to figure out how to get it done. I've been talking to different people who do have that skill, being a part of the assembly, the 757 collab, the startup studio. I've been talking to different founders. I've asked different mentors, and a young lady was trying to explain to me Cloud Packet, was like, maybe I can design that for you. She's in the next room right now, and I just met her. And she was, and so people are telling me, well, use AWS. I'm talking to other founders and other people, and I'm trying to decide, well, should I buy my own server? Or should I use a cloud-based solution? Should I do an AWS, so I do packets? And so it's just something that as I grow, I will figure it out. I'm going to try and plan for it based on having faith and trust in other people and what they're guiding me to, being a non-technical person. But that is also like a partner.
And you're looking for a technical co-founder? That's, I would assume?
Yes. I would like a CTO, Chief Technology Officer, because I know what I'm strong in, and I know where I know where I can improve, and that's definitely it. But I'm here, and I have a 25-year-old who is booming in the AI and building CTO or some, I don't know. She was trying to explain it to me. She told me to give her my design. She said she'd like to just take at it as a challenge.
I think that's a solid first start.
Yeah. So we'll see. But right now, I bought a massive computer for home to use as a startup server. That's my first part. Or to use one of the cloud services. I'm hoping to get more credits or something, maybe an AWS grant, credits to use their cloud server, or IBM Azure server. I'm hoping they're listening right now. Whatever.
Everyone's listening right now.
School, so they can say, hey, Cheryl, we saw you, and yes, we'd love to be your partner. Yeah. So whoever out there in Amazon, Google world wants to give me a grant for cloud storage space, I'd appreciate you.
Well, there is a thirst for content, and I agree that, and the same reason why we do this show live, we record it live, we don't do any post-production edits, just the authenticity of the show. I think that's what people are looking for, they appreciate, and Yeah, I love the independent aspect of what it is that you're trying to do.
Well,
Zach, I know that's important to Zach as well. That was, I think, looking back when we first started the show, that was one of the things that you were.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be 48 years old this year. In a few months, I'm 2 years from 50. I don't know if you guys like Molly Shannon, Saturday Night Live. 50, but and my very first job out of college, or actually even before I graduated from college, was at the New York Times. Okay. When I worked there, the New York Times owned like 10 different magazines. By the time I graduated from college, they only owned the golf and tennis magazines. Then shortly thereafter, they only owned the golf magazines. And there was this room, and it was a whole bunch of people sitting around like this. They were younger Zacks and Tims with cool hair, and they just sat there trying to figure out like this all day, trying to dream and figure out what the internet can do. Okay. All those magazines, I don't even think they exist anymore. And then everything went, I grew up in Nowhereville with like 4 TV stations. And then there was 7. And now there's, all the diginets and all the technology. And there's 200 cable channels and a billion streaming channels, and we just have to be flexible thinkers, and we have to change I can give you the rise and fall of the media industry. I can give you a whole timeline. I can give you the evolution of the cell phone, because that's what I went through over all these years. So I can tell people in their 20s what they don't know. To me, that's a part of a diverse, when we talk about diversity, everybody, when we talk about diversity, we have to take all of our experiences collectively and see what our strengths and weaknesses are. But I also want to have I want to be forward thinking, and I want to think about what the next step is. And the main thing is you just have to be a flexible thinker. Adaptable.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay curious. I mean, it's
What?
My key to life is staying curious, and opens up a lot of different.
You got to be an adaptable thinker. You've
100%.
just you've got to switch. And I don't know if I answered your question, Zach, in the way you want me to, but I was initially going to buy this massive $20,000 server. I'm going to these pitch contests because I'm trying to buy this TV grade server, television server that I can store everything, and I can drag and drop, and it's patented. But then as I'm doing it and I'm here, other people are like, well, maybe I could build you something else. It's still going to cost. It's still going to cost, but they're like, but this is, and so I'm still trying to listen to the advice of other people on which way to go there.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I wish you all the success as you navigate your way through these next few months are going to be really, really important. So I wish you the very, very best.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you guys inviting me to be up here. I'm open if anybody has any questions. If you guys decide to make this, studio, anyway. Like I said, I'm doing anybody who's willing to help me out, and they just want to be up on the Roku or Fire platform for a time. They own the content. It's your content, and you made it. Let's do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. This
Thank
has
you.
been awesome. Looking forward to seeing this thing live.
All right. I appreciate it. You guys have a great afternoon.
Thanks.